Hello, Playdate. This is Don.
This is Nick.
And I'm Ryan.
This week we are covering Playdate news.
Recent indie releases for real this
Hey,
time.
oh, well, yes. Oh man. Now it's awkward, as always. And bringing you the live, laugh, love of the Playdate community.
Thank you for listening. Let's get started. I didn't know if there was more to it.
That,
Uh,
that, that was pretty much it.
okay. All
Thrown
right.
off my game.
Oh,
Anyway, here we are, cruising into hoobity boop, the news and notes for today. Starting with, guess what? We've got some more new episodes of the official Playdate podcast. I always almost say official Hello Playdate podcast because I'm so used to saying our title. But that would be a correction we'd have to do for next episode. So let's not have me do that. Anyway, since we're talking about them this episode, last official Playdate podcast update released episodes about Wheelsprung and the Whiteout. So we're going to mention them since we're talking about them today. But there's a couple more episodes that are released about the new games. We're going to try not to mention those as we cruise through all these news and notes because, hey, they are season 2 heavy. Speaking of which, Cotton Bureau's updated with the new unmentionable games in season 2. We will mention them next episode. But for this episode, I guess I'll retroactively tell you that there's Whiteout and Wheelsprung merchandise. And the one I was real excited about last time was that Wheelsprung merch. Did you guys see those shirts? Ooh, Julie
hmm
Bjornskov coming in hot with the Wheelsprung merch. Those shirts are looking nice. We also have some Engadget season 2 goings-ons. So you can hop over to Engadget to see what Cheyenne McDonald has to say about the games that we are talking about today, Wheelsprung and Whiteout. They're double W game day today. And there's also an Engadget article about Blippo Plus. So we'll have a link to that. We'll have a link to actual Blippo Plus. You can find that at blippo.plus. But essentially, she's talking about how Blippo Plus TV Simulator is also coming to Nintendo Switch and PC in color this fall. So you can catch it now, be among the first to see it on Playdate. And hey, since we're talking about Blippo Plus, do you guys have a chance to watch any of this? You watch any Blippo?
Yeah.
just played with it a little. Yeah, go ahead, Nick.
Well, I've been keeping up with the programming. Um,
Did you watch it
things
all? There's a
things are
lot.
happening. Yeah, there is.
Did
It's
you watch
great.
it all?
They added more after last week as well. Yeah, I watched it all.
Yeah,
Um,
samesies. What'd you think? Did you have any
nice.
faves?
Um, yes, there's a lot of interesting stuff, a lot of fun spoofs and things that are in there, and I'm really enjoying it overall. The thing that it's kind of spoilery, but some of the stuff that they're doing this past week was really fun, I thought. Um, how about you, Ryan? Do you
Oh,
have
I
a particular fave?
I found a fave. Yes, indeed. The
Oh,
the Party Music Nonstop show was right up my alley. Some interpretive dance, some catchy beats. Yeah, that's the one I'm going to be looking out for. I hope there's more episodes of that. I don't know if it's just going to be like one episode of each title is released ever, or if there's going to be additional episodes, like you can tune into more episodes of Party Music Nonstop. Yeah, I guess this is still sort of evolving, so we'll see what happens over the next 12 weeks of Blippo Plus. Don, did you have any faves you want to call out?
I have not checked out that much of it, honestly. So I
Okay,
need to get on the stick.
that,
But I
that
just
is
I
okay.
just turned it on to see if Party Music Nonstop is still on, and I don't think it is. It was on last week.
Oh
So
no. It was on channel 49. I guess if it's not, then we can wait for the replay.
I
Fetch
haven't.
is on. It looks like next week might be Party Music Nonstop again,
Ooh.
but Fetch is on channel 49 right now.
Oh, well, maybe you
s-
just need to wait for
So
Fetch to finish up because it sort of
yeah,
like
it
progresses.
it
Yeah.
toggles between two or more
Oh,
programs
oh,
over time.
okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. I think
That's
each
just what's
channel
on currently.
has like, 3 to 5, uh, what, episodes, shows,
Oh, okay,
that
cool.
just
I
sort
thought
of
it was just
cycle
one
through.
per. That's awesome.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
watching
It's
Yeah.
Fetch right now. Very cool.
Have have you Ryan? Have you been into the Telefax channel?
Yes. And it confused me.
Did you press the buttons to read the posts and things?
Um, I I think if I'm remembering correctly, I think I pressed the D-pad to like toggle through them. There are a few of them.
S-
Is that what
You
I'm supposed to do?
you press the D-pad to select a category, and then
Uh-huh.
you press the A button. Maybe it also repurposes the D-pad there to read all the messages. So it's like a community bulletin board,
Huh.
and each of those things that you pull up. The reason I bring this up is because it may have been a little obscure, and so I'm glad that I did. Um,
Totally.
so yeah, it's pretty cool. Some of the messages are pretty amazing. So,
Huh. Okay, I'll have
and they
to
they
press some
built
additional
they
buttons.
they built from week 1 to week 2 as well.
Hmm.
Um, so I suspect there will be a continued sort of narrative thread.
So this is like a f- a scripted, a faux community message board.
Yeah,
It's not like you and I get
correct.
in here and type something in there. Okay, gotcha.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay, interesting.
It's
Thank you for demystifying Blippo a little bit for me. I feel quite mystified by it, to tell you the
it's
truth.
well, it's an alien planet's broadcast.
Sure.
So yeah,
Yep.
it's going to be a little unfamiliar,
But I
be a little
but I
strange.
thought we were it's not an alien planet's broadcast. We are broadcasting from Earth so that aliens can understand us. Isn't that it? Because there was like a teen show. Yeah, I think so. There
What
was
the
a
hell is
teen show
happening right now?
called Boredome. Okay, I watched it all, and I'm still very
Yeah.
confused. So please demystify. But there was
Okay.
a teen show. Did you watch
Yes.
Boredome?
Yeah.
Okay. And on the Boredome show, they said, "Hey, we're talking to aliens. So what do you want the aliens to know
Okay.
about?" It wasn't like,
So
"Hey, we're
Ryan,
aliens and we want
we're the
Earthlings."
aliens.
No,
Earth
that's
people are the aliens.
that's too deep for me. But all
So
the
Earth
aliens look
people.
just like humans. So what?
Ryan, the possibility exists that elsewhere in the universe
We're gonna have to do a
there could be.
Blippo up.
Uh,
We might have to do a few. Yeah. Um,
oh man.
20 Blippo apps.
I zoned out
Um,
for a minute while I was watching this stuff. I come back in. I don't know what the hell you guys are talking about. Are we the aliens or
You
what?
got a
all right.
lot of programming to make your
It
way
just
through, guys.
crashed
Good
my
luck.
Playdate.
I've gotten a few crashes on Blippo Plus as well. I will fill you all in after the app here.
You know that
Um,
that's funny. I remember you saying that last episode, and since that time, I have watched all the hours of the Blippo Plus, and I did not crash once. I don't know if
well,
it's
you're
my
you're not
relatively new.
randomly tuning into different channels as fast as you can to see how quickly you can
Oh,
crash it.
I was
oh,
reading
maybe I need to.
the facts thing, which I don't totally understand yet. Like there's different facts channels or something. I don't.
Yeah.
It was only one
So they're
screen
like
when I was in there, so I don't know.
there's one screen, and then you can press left or right to
Yeah,
select different message boards,
forums. Oh,
essentially.
okay.
And then, yeah, like a forum. And then you press the A button, and it'll start auto scrolling through the messages where you can direct them with
Oh,
button presses. Um,
gotcha.
yes.
Well, we're
All
out
right.
of time, guys. So
Okay.
See you
Have a
next
good night,
episode.
everybody. Yeah.
it's the Blippo episode.
All right, fine. Enough Blippo talk.
I
Let's
didn't
get
realize
into.
I had two Blippo diehards with me.
Well, one of them is very confused about Blippo, so I'm glad that we're talking about it a little bit. Anyhow, that's Blippo. And we're getting into the uncranked corner.
Jeez.
Guys, I feel like I should break the magic of our show here a little bit because,
Magic.
dear listener, we are recording a mere 3 days after our last episode. So because of that, not a whole lot of new Uncrank stuff to talk about, and that's not the fault of Zanya. That's the fault of us recording very quickly, but lives dictated otherwise. So here we go. Uncranked corner, hoobity boop. First one, Uncranked second anniversary reader interviews are still available. So if you want to contact Zanya and be a part of issue number 9, where she interviews some readers about your experiences with Uncranked, then by golly, you can contact Zanya at uncrankedproductions@gmail.com. Remember, that's spelled funny. UNCRANKD, no E in there, productions at gmail.com. Also, I think I'll just throw in the old Uncranked Substack here if you want to stay up to date on all the Uncranked happenings, because there are a lot. Don't forget about their Substack. We'll include a link to that in the show notes of today's episode. It is free to subscribe to the Substack. There's no paywall there, so real easy to do. All right. Also, seamless transition into destination update. We've got a couple of new, how do you say, videos from Mr. Update, Mr. Destination. He's done the next 2 season 2 games, which shall not be named, but we will include a link to Destination Playdate in today's episode, to the main channel link, so that you can check that out if you so desire.
Well, we can say he covered the games we're going to talk about today. So if you want to
And
watch
he
them
also covered
in action, yeah.
Whitewater wipe. No, what the whiteout.
Whitewater, whiteout.
the whitewater wipeout. He covered the whiteout and Wheelsprung. Thank you. Oh boy. All right. Well, I think that's gonna doobity do it for the news and notes section, which brings us to biddy boo. Do we have any inventory today, Don?
Yeah, we have a couple.
All
The
right.
first is Rotata by Trigonated. And this is a free game. It's up on itch. There'll be a link in the show notes. It supports Playdate achievements. So if you want to try Playdate achievements and a free game, give it a shot. This is downloaded, haven't played, but it looks neat. It's sort of like Connect 4 if all the stuff was in there mixed with Othello, and like if you click on an arrow, it changes all the dice, or excuse me, all the coins going that direction into the same color. So like if you click the
Uh,
left arrow, all the ones going left will change. Click a down arrow, all the ones going down. And I don't know, I haven't played it. So you're trying to create change and rotate all of the cells to be your color, I think. That is the gist I got. It has local multiplayer. Looks pretty cool. So it says it's inspired by Bacteria 2 by Simon Donkers,
Huh, that does
if
look
you're familiar with
interesting. I,
that.
I wasn't sure
Cool.
what exactly was going on here, but that was a good explanation. Also, it is free, not even name your own price. There's just a download button. So, real easy game to give a try.
Yeah,
And this
highly
is the
recommend it.
dev's first game.
Hmm.
Very cool. I mean, I
Yeah,
highly
very cool.
recommend trying it out. I'm sure it's a great game too, but also try it out. Yeah, it's free. What do you got to lose? So give it a go. And then
Word
the
up.
next one is called Instant Impact by Mamonaku. And this one, I think, is like a bop it, like a super frantic bop it. There's a 30-second, 60-second, and infinite modes, and it's very stylish. Like Nick, we played some game that was kind of like this. This is going to be a deep dig because I'm
Okay.
having a hard time remembering it. We talked about it on our old podcast, Gaming on 10. It was like very stylized like this. I want to say it
Was
was
this
Japanese.
the rhythm game?
I think
Uh,
so.
where you're like running on a tube or something?
Had a
Was
bunch
it
of
that
mini
one?
games. They're like real quick mini games. It might have, maybe it
Hmm.
was it Playdate? I don't think it was. I think it was like a Wii game, WiiWare game. I don't know. We're getting off the rails. If I think of it, I will
Are
let you
we
know because it's gonna drive me
co-
crazy.
consider it? Is that what you're thinking of?
No, it's not considerate.
QTM?
No,
Okay.
it looked very similar to this futuristic
Aesthetic.
sort of aesthetic. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's going to drive me crazy until I figure out what it is because it's really fun. There is a Playdate game not similar to this, but with this similar aesthetic where you're playing quick mini games that somebody else made very early on that I really enjoyed. And of course, can't remember the name of that either. But if I do, I'll throw it in the show notes. That one I can dig up. Lots of
Cool,
nothing
cool.
is what I just said. But
Well, in the
anyway,
meantime,
Instant Impact. Check it
as
out.
Don is digging through the recesses of the old brain dome,
Yeah,
I want to let you know that Instant Impact is $3. You can buy it now on Itch. We got a link in the show notes.
indeed.
And I think that's it for indie inventory. Yes.
Yeah, I mean we got catalog, but yeah, those are the only two.
All right.
You should know that Robug Rampage from DigiCarrot recently in the pre-summer Play Jam, Uncranked pre-summer Play Jam is getting a full release. So
I got that email as well. Nice.
yeah, that's exciting news.
Yeah. Thank you for voicing that news. Okay.
Hmm.
Ooh.
Nick, are you taking us through catalog today?
Yeah, I don't mind. Let's start with Cascada,
Yeah, let's.
and it is made by Tim Martin. So, Don, Ryan, do you like games where balls are mechanically interacting with playing surfaces in different ways? Because this game might be for you. It is sort of like Plinko or Pachinko from the gifs and the description. Uh, there are 54 different levels across 6 themed rounds. And done, there's par-based scoring with
There
unlimited
is.
marbles.
I've played this. Yeah, it's
You
similar to
have?
Peggle.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
tell us about it. Yeah.
It's similar to
Is it?
Peggle. I A and B do different things, but it like went through the tutorial really fast, and I'm not sure what they do because they seem to do the same thing. So if anybody knows the difference between A and B, please let me know. But yeah, it's fun. The physics feel good, and the sound is neat. Um, you're basically clearing off. See how like some balls are like striped, some pegs are striped. If you kill all the striped ones, then the level's over. So that's what you're aiming for. Those are the orange pegs, basically.
You have to kill the pegs?
You have to hit them until they disappear. So you're
I
going for
see.
those first. If you get the white ones, it doesn't really matter. I only
Okay.
played a couple rounds, but I enjoyed it. It's smooth, it's fun. If you dig Peggle, you'll dig this. You can make your own levels.
That's cool. Um, are they timed
No, I
or
don't think so. And you have unlimited
okay.
balls. It
Okay.
says you have
What is
unlimited balls. So
the pressure on the player?
chilling.
Chilling? This is like a chill Peggle.
Yeah,
Getting
it's
all
chill. I
those
mean, you'll be
stripy
over
pegs.
par, but
There's a lot of stripy pegs to get.
I see. I
yeah,
see. That's the scoring
it keeps your score, but
pressure.
like it's up to you to do better or worse.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, I haven't played a whole
I'm
lot.
with
I
it.
did not finish a round, so
Okay.
needed to spend more time, but pretty cool. It's
Very
also
cool.
on itch. I didn't put it on here, but it's also on itch.
Hmm.
Okay. And it is $5 on
Mhm.
catalog.
Making you holla.
Okay. Next up is Xeno Escape. And this is a terror suspense puzzle inspired by the Alien universe, the cinematic Alien universe. I think we've talked about this when it was announced or when it was
On
released
itch.
on Itch, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the description. You wake up alone in a spaceship infested with alien creatures, and you have to traverse the whole ship to find the last escape pod and survive. Most rooms are completely dark, so you have to rely on a flashlight and a movement sensor to move through the levels without being captured by the aliens. Enjoy the tense and immersive ambiance while trying to make the least noise possible and discover different types of items which might help you on your way. Collect all the organic samples on each level to get a perfect score. And this game is $3, made by Daniel Astudillo, and that is on catalog.
This is interesting. It's almost like it's got a pulp aesthetic to it, but at the same time, it looks more involved than that because there's like a HUD over on the right-hand side and some incorporation of like photographic dithered images. Um, yeah, very interesting.
Mm-hmm. There was an old Alien arcade game
Seen
which
it.
kind of had similar vibes. And what was the one we were talking about? The Luigi's Mansion part of Nintendo
Nintendo
Land.
Land. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, kind of reminiscent. Okay, Next up, we got Crank Up. And this is made by Eliath Bernard. And it's time to stack some block and build the tallest tower possible. How tall? I hope taller than the neighbor's one. Inspired by fuzzy memories of a game from my phone. The goal is to stack as many blocks as you can and as best as you can. Try to be on the leaderboard. This game looks awfully familiar.
I was
Did
gonna
we
say,
also
I think this
Yeah,
was
well,
did we
on
on
play
itch.
this?
I think this was on
Okay.
itch before as well.
I played this,
Okay.
like last week. I just randomly was like, oh, this looks fun on my Playdate. And it's tough. These scores are wild. 208.
Wow.
My score is like
That's a
25
lot.
or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty awesome. This game is fun. I have played it as well, and it's $2 on catalog. That's Crank Up. All right. Next up, Cappy Spa, and this is made by Seth Whedon and Shui Lin. And you are playing as the manager of an onsen for capybaras. As a capybara yourself, it's up to you to bring joy and happiness to your adorable customers and gain financial success. Proceeds from the sale of this game will go to the ROUS Foundation to help improve the lives of capybaras. So this game appears to be... I'm watching the GIF. It appears as though you crank to
Pour
heat
water on them or something?
the bath or pour water on them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. So it appears that there's a time pressure kind of similar to like a Diner Dash or
Yeah.
Overcooked or something like that. It looks more chill than those games, but looks cool.
Yeah.
And that is $1 on catalog.
And it's got a screensaver too. You want a cute
Oh, neat.
screensaver. Yeah, there you go.
All right. So next up, this is last in our list, but not last in our hearts. It is Low Life, an action role-playing game, and this is made by Orange Thief Limited. To a distant land, a warrior returns. Explore a hostile kingdom, vanquish wild beasts, and deal with unscrupulous soldiers on an uncompromising quest for revenge. Secrets and surprises abound across an open world, home to enemies and potential allies alike, where your choice of path matters as much as your strength and resolve. Armed with your trusty sword, will you cut down all who stand in your way, or use your wits to win the support of the people? Low Life is a retro open-world action role-playing game from the creator of Resonant Tale and the composer of Initial Daydream. It features fast pick-up-and-play action, a choice of real-time or turn-based gameplay, a built-in hint system and other assist options, 3 separate save slots and autosave function, 16 unique enemy types, hidden collectibles, calendar events, and 27-plus awards and 9 ranks to earn across multiple playthroughs.
Goodness. There's also a link to some hints and tips and a walkthrough coming soon and a world map coming soon that is also on this linked web page from the catalog page.
I started playing it and my life was very low. I died constantly. So yeah, I'll be digging into those hints and tips, and
Oh,
there's
sorry,
accessibility
Don.
options. So I'll double my damage or something. I don't know. But yeah, it was cool.
Cool.
Well,
It's
Nick and I are always here for you if your life ever feels low.
Thank you
that is
guys.
true. And Ryan, I'm a big RPG consumer. Are you interested in this as well?
An Orange Thief?
No, in Low Life.
Low Life. Is that
in the game?
There we go.
Buy
Yes.
Orange Thief.
Buy Orange Thief. Okay. Yes. Yes, it looks quite interesting.
I'm interested
Maybe
as well.
once we get back to some picks of the week, we'll hear from Nick about this. Who knows? Who knows?
We may. So Low Life is $5 on catalog. And that is the last of the games from catalog. But Ryan, I was curious if you would like to talk about games that are currently on sale.
You know I do. You know I do. So take this with a grain of salt, dear listener, because this information is going to be 4 days old by the time this episode airs. But at the time we're recording, Coda is a buck, 67% off from 3 to 1. Vex Box is only $2, down from 3. Suborbital Salvage is 8 down to 6. Echo, the Oracle Scroll is the same, 8 to 6. Totally Safe Enhanced Jump System is down from 6 to 4. Angel Pop, one of our picks of the week, is 50% off from 6 down to $3 right now. Hopefully by the time this airs, it's the same. Boy, howdy. And 60% off those Playtime Weird Alarm Clocks are from 5 to 2. 60% off there. Hard to beat that.
I wanted to give a shout out real quick to Vexbox. I didn't really talk about it, but I had to set up a second playdate to play some of the season games because they were not working on my original playdate. But since I did that, I was able to get some catalog games working that never worked on my original playdate just
Hmm.
because probably there's too much stuff on there. Anyway, so Vexbox is one of those games, and it's really fun. Like this might become a pick of the week for me.
Ooh.
So while it's $2, yeah, there's a lot of random like, oh, you pick one thing and it does this other thing, and it's sort of like Minesweeper in that you're trying to find the flag, but each of the other boxes that you open has a special ability. Like, oh, this might open two other boxes, or it might be a bomb, or it might be a key, and then you got to find the treasure chest in another box, or it might be totally empty, but there's all kinds of surprises. And it's got achievements that are popping up, so it was really neat. The font is super tiny, so you gotta throw glasses on, or if you're old, you do. But yeah, $2, heck of a deal.
Ah, cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, I think that's it for our indie inventory slash catalog section. Yes.
Hmm. Yep.
Okay. So I guess that means it's time to boopity boop us into our season two selections today. The first of which is Wheelsprung. So who would like to tackle the description of Wheelsprung?
I'll give it quick and dirty. You're a
Okay.
squirrel on a dirt bike. You're doing gravity-defying tricks, and of course, you're looking for nuts. So the idea is similar to like Trials or what was the game you guys mentioned?
Motocross
Motocross.
Maniacs.
Motocross Maniacs. Yeah. You've seen similar games. You're driving left to right or right to left, 2D scale, doing crazy physics tricks on a little dirt bike, trying to get nuts inside of a house, though. You're a squirrel who is trying to, well, I mean, there's a whole little story, but a lot of the environments are bedrooms or bathrooms, kitchens, that sort of thing. And there's a really cute little story that goes with it with animation using panels that we've talked about in the past. Julie Bjornskov did Escape the board game, Escape the arcade, and I can never remember the name of that cool dancing rhythm game she did. But anyway, so if you're familiar with her art and her work, she's done a lot of fun, charming, colorful in quotes, black and white, colorful games. And then Nino Van Hoof, he did Gravity Express's probably his biggest one, but I'm trying to think if he did any other Playdate games. But that was like a super slick space flying 2D game with really slick physics and a great
Yes.
interface and whatnot.
And according to Nino in the official Playdate podcast, his game was the first to use, was it rendered graphics or photographs or something like that on the Playdate system? He was
Video,
a
maybe?
very early adopter of that, at least according to him. Also, as you were chatting, Don, I looked up Julie and Anders Bjornskov's Dance Break Dance game.
Yes. Thank you
That's
so
the name
much.
of that third game.
Okay. Thanks. Yeah. Thanks so much. So yeah, so you're gonna go through and you're gonna try and get to the trophy as quick as possible. Collect the nuts, which highlights the trophy, and then collect the trophy. And there it keeps track of all your scores. There's a hidden nut in each level, so if you want to get a little bit more legs out of the game, you can collect that nut. There's 34 tracks, and you can make your own tracks, and it compares leaderboards with everybody else. So if you want to shave off that second, that tenth of a second, hundredths of a second, um, it's a score chaser. So there's a lot going on here. But what did you guys think of Wheelsprung? Nicholas, would you like to go?
Let's go. Um, so this game I thought had really, I really enjoy um, Julie's artwork,
Hmm.
and this game had some really cool use of her artwork, not just in the storytelling of the panels, but also the rendering of the squirrel and the bike and the animation that's seen throughout, as well as the environments. Um, Don, you and I have talked before about um, big person, small world, or
Hmm.
the small person, big world. There we go. This is an example of that. And the way that the wheels move reminded me of Uniracers, if you played that on the
Hmm.
Super Nintendo. Um, the physics are different, but just kind of the way that the bike moves. If you had two unicycles and you strapped them together, it would kind of sort of remind you of that game. Um, the animation is like rubber hose type, sort of 1930s style animation with the way that the squirrel moves on the bike. It's really cute and fun to see in person. Uh, the physics and the controls can feel a bit punishing. Um, I I found myself beating my head into the background actually quite frequently, um, because you have to really adjust the angle and the speed with which your squirrel is running on this bike all the time. It's not like just kind of hold down the accelerator and then hope for the best kind of racer. It's really micromanage the movement of the squirrel. So I found that to be difficult for each new stage. There were new obstacles and things, and I thought that it built in quite a thoughtful way from stage to stage, introducing new obstacles and challenges. For example, partway through your tasks with turning around, which you can do with a simple press of down on the D-pad, which I thought was extremely clever. But of course, it throws the whole concept that you've learned to that point on its head, so to speak. Hopefully not uh, literally, but anyway, I thought it was really cute. It was really challenging, but the challenge didn't feel unfair. Um, and I enjoyed the music, the sound. Everything is really fun. I did not complete this game, however, because it is going to require going back several times, I think. Um, so, all of that said, Ryan, what are your thoughts?
Very, very similar, actually. So, I believe there are, I wrote to you guys what this was after listening to the podcast episode. I think there's 34 levels. Is that what I told you?
Yep.
Yeah.
That is.
So 34 levels. I did not complete the game, but I made it pretty far. I made it to level 29. I think I only skipped one or so in there. It's nice that you're able to skip levels, even though they're very short. Sometimes they can be quite challenging, as Nick was saying. And man, some of these I've done just dozens and dozens of times over before achieving success at a particular level. Um, Yes, we had that Motocross Maniacs comparison last time, but boy, does this motorcycle ever feel different. Like the stretchiness and the odd physics of it make it feel like quite a different game, even though it's like 2D motorcycle riding game, jumping ramps and things of that sort. Man, if you're a motocross maniacs enthusiast, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna, own this game, in terms of completing levels quickly. So be prepared for some new challenges within here, I would say. Um, one of the things that was mentioned on the official Playdate podcast with both Nino and Julie Bjornskov is that Nino was calling attention to the fact that most games will use sprites like in the background, but this game is entirely drawn. And I thought that was a really interesting point to bring people's attention to is that every level in here is drawn by Julie. It's all, has a very hand-drawn, hand-wrought aesthetic to it, which I think is very interesting and unique for a game like this. So it's not just like copied and pasted blocks. There's a lot of environment to explore there. And they were also talking about, the devs were talking about how this collaboration between them really freed up one another to do what they do best. Julie was able to focus on art and music, and she didn't have to worry about gameplay or anything. She was very, very happy not worrying about any of that. And vice versa for Nino, who said that he almost stopped developing games because it's so onerous. You've got to do everything, and it's basically like, in his words, dedicating a year of your free time to doing something. And that's like, that's not nothing. And a
Right.
good thing for us as players to remember as we're going through some of these games. Like there's not a game in here that didn't take a mountain of time to create. So anyway, some really good points on the official Playdate podcast with the developers Nino and Julie. Gameplay wise, I really fancied some of the unique level mechanics. There's some like movable environmental elements that you have to like trigger something before you're able to achieve a pathway toward other things. There's also, at the risk of spoiling, I'll just say there's some very interesting bicycle or motorcycle mechanics that must be employed in order to complete certain levels. So it was an interesting progression of learning how the motorcycle works, how that can work in different ways in order to allow you to progress. Yeah, yeah, I had a good time with it. Super challenging. Occasionally got a little bit frustrating, I would say, on some of these levels that are so gosh darn challenging. But I feel like, as Nick said, each of them are achievable. Um, yeah. How about you guys? I feel like I'm talking a lot. Sorry.
It starts to dip into like Line Rider territory, if you guys are familiar with watching Line Rider runs. But I feel like, and it would be really fun to watch people make Line Rider courses with this game, but I feel like maybe the physics are too spongy to make Line Rider tracks predictable. Because Line Rider, the actual sled, is firm and static, I think. Whereas this, it's so spongy and springy. I think it would be really, really difficult to do. But some of the mechanics that we were talking about kind of give that vibe, which is fun, but really challenging. And did you guys try the hint mode at all?
No, I didn't
Is
know it existed.
I did try to use it, but I g- maybe I was just very confused this week. The hit mode confused me because it's like there's this little um, ghost of a person, but then I was trying to do what the ghost hint was telling me, and I still could not achieve it on a particular level I was working on. Did it work better for you, Don?
So you're the ghost. So I accidentally turned the hint thing on when I was trying to restart a level or go back to a level select or something. And so once I accidentally clicked it, I was like, oh, well, I might as well see what it does. And it doesn't, the little ghost is you. That's your previous run.
Uh-huh.
But what the hint does is it will kind of put a ghost, just an imprint of a ghost, where the position of your bike should go. So,
Uh-huh.
like, let's say your bike is supposed to be upside down with the wheels on the
Oh,
top
spoiler
of a
territory.
shelf.
Yeah.
Well, your bike can go upside down. Your bike can do a flip. It will go upside down, and your wheels would be on the top of a shelf while your head would be below it. So it will
Yeah.
just have an imprint of that upside down bike.
Okay.
And then I'm guessing further on, that was a level that I couldn't beat anyway. But I'm guessing further on the next shelf or something, maybe it shows you another imprint. Or if
Yeah.
you get stuck, well, if you get stuck, too bad. You always start at the beginning. So I'm guessing there will be multiple imprints as you go. I didn't really notice that, but at least it's an idea. I could see some of the levels is pretty like it's pretty confusing. Where am I supposed to go initially? And then as
Yeah.
you kind of understand the level design, I feel like you'll get the hang of it. But
Yeah.
so
One of the funny things, I don't know if you guys listen to that podcast I keep
yeah,
referencing, but one of the things that was mentioned by Nino was basically a challenge saying, you know what? I'm gonna start off the first week just being at the bottom of the leaderboard, but then look out everybody on week two. I'm gonna demolish everyone. And I don't know that that's quite happening yet, Nino. I think you might need to work a little harder to beat the likes of 8-Bit Bear and Jockey and Dr. Trev. There's a few folks ahead of you. 8-Bit Bear totally schooled us a few weeks back on what was that, Lunorbit.
every
So,
game.
8-Bit Bear's no joke. And it looks like
Hmm.
there's even a handful of people ahead of him. So good mercy. Good luck, Nino. I think you've got your work cut out for you on this one.
Yeah, it's tough. It would be cool if we had friends, like a friends list on here, so
It
we could see
would be
friends
cool if we had
leaderboards.
friends.
That would be nice. Have you guys, did you guys try to collect many of the acorns?
No, except for when it was necessary to complete the course. There's like an early course where you need to grab them all in order to move on to the next level. And that's the
That
only one where I really
you have to
was
grab all the
focusing.
nuts, but like the acorn itself is like a
Oh, is that
bonus.
different from a nut?
Yeah, if you look at the bottom photo here with the leaderboard, you see a column for acorns.
Ah,
And if you
yes.
find the acorn, it'll put a little acorn there. So it's kind
Oh.
of like a little bonus extra thing to do. A lot of them are really tricky. I mean, some of them it's not too bad, but that's not when you're trying to get the record and collect the acorn. Just collect the acorn and finish the level just for fun.
Interesting. Thank you for unconfusing me so many times this episode, guys.
No worries. All
All
right,
right.
cool. Yeah, we
Well,
need to move on to the next one too.
yeah, we do.
But anyway, this was fun, a lot of fun, but very difficult. So this will be one that I'll have to go back to over and over to see if I can chip away and get a little bit further.
Right,
That's
right.
my goal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Cool. All right. Well, everybody, put on your coats and jackets, turn off the lights, get in a moody mood because we're about to talk about the Whiteout. This one's made by Scenic Route Software, and it's a game where in the spring of 2025, it started snowing and never stopped. How was that for a movie trailer voiceover? Did that work out all
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, set the
You've been
tone.
working on it. I hear.
Then so essentially this is sort of a point and click light type of game.
Hmm.
It says the Whiteout is a chapter-based, narrative-driven adventure game that takes place in the not-too-distant future. You'll play as a lone traveler in a dangerous and broken world. Society's collapsed, food is scarce, and trust is not affordable. So, man, this game really captured my imagination, my feelings, I was invested in this. There's some really powerful storytelling going on here. Um, and all wrapped in this beautiful, beautiful is not the right word, but accomplished aesthetic in terms of the player sprites, the walk cycles, the environment. There's so many different environments. And what makes it even more crazy is that Scenic Route Software is essentially the person who did all of this story, programming, art, music, everything. He said he had a little help from a friend to start, but the friend, walked off the project very early. And so essentially it was left to him to do this whole gosh darn game. And going through the game when I wasn't totally immersed in the environments and the story, which was frequent, I was immersed frequent. And for those brief times where I wasn't, I kept thinking to myself, my gosh, there's so much content here. I can't get over the fact that one person is behind all this. So um, I am a fan of point and click games. I was a Sierra kid growing up, and so so this immediately spoke to me. And I also feel like there's not a lot of like post-apocalyptic dystopian themed games on the Playdate. The Playdate is yellow and it's happy and it's small, and I think it kind of breeds that type of um, uh, you know I'm struggling to come up with the right adjective here, but sort of lighthearted games, I guess you would say. And so I don't see a lot of these heavy themed games on the Playdate. So that was kind of an interesting departure. But I'm going away from my original point, which was I love point and click games. And this game in particular, I felt like did a lot of things to bring point and click games, which can be pretty obtuse and hard to get into for a modern player, maybe a younger player who's not used to such things, and made it a lot more accessible in terms of limitations. So, unlike a point and click game, you cannot walk all over the screen. You can either walk left and right, and that's it. That so that limitation in and of itself, I thought was really great. Also, rather than going up to every single item on the screen and saying, look at this, pick up that, it was limited to only when there is an alert. So if there's
Hotspots is
something
what
that
that's
can,
called.
okay,
Yeah.
something that can be interacted with. There's an exclamation point that pops over your head to let you know, hey, something's here. You might want to do something about it. Or an arrow to go into a door, out of a door, etc. So I thought there was a lot of really great quality of life choices that were made by Scenic Route Software to make this slow, languid, dystopian, point and click story accessible to a much wider audience. There's some of my thoughts, but what are your guys' thoughts? Popcorn, Dawn, I want to hear from you. Nick, I know you like the point and clicks too. I want to hear what Dawn has to say about this.
This definitely Nick game. His name's in the credits.
Totally. I saw that too.
Yeah, this feels like a leap from Post Hero, which was a similar type of game from Scenic Route Software, which I really enjoyed. But yeah, tonally very different. Graphically, I feel like it is boosted even more.
Yeah.
But gameplay again very similar. Yeah, so I did enjoy it. I enjoyed the story. It still has it has that Scenic Route Software sort of tone. Um it definitely gets darker, but you can still feel some of that humor and some of those like family touches, I guess. You can tell that it's been lived in, like the world's been lived in. And I think Scenic Route Software does a good job of that. Those little details that a lot of games would just kind of not bother adding. I think I called it flavor or whatever when we were talking about it on Discord. And there's a lot of that that doesn't need to be there, but it really makes you feel like good and and interested to look in each corner, walk to the edge of the screen, both edges of the screen, in every room and every um, piece of, you know, I think this kind of got really boring with the outdoor elements because it's so much snow, but it doesn't. Like he did a good job of keeping the areas tight and interesting. And I have the benefit of I didn't play it until he added holding B to walk faster. And the only complaints really I saw about the game is that you walk too slow. And so I had the benefit of being able to walk a little bit faster. And it's not like you're running or anything, but I feel like the holding B pace is feels pretty good. But another cool thing is that when he wants you to slow down, you just slow down. You slow down and you start reading and reading. It's like a trigger or whatever. And so I think that's even more interesting when you're holding B because it really makes you stop and like pay attention. And I'm guessing before that, when it was all the same speed, might have been even less poignant because you just would have been walking the same pace and then here's some more text. But this really makes you kind of hit the brakes and then here's something. The Traveler's Log helps you catch that dialogue. Like if you go to the start menu, you can read a log of whatever dialogue popped up. But this time really makes you pay attention and that's kind of where I get bored on adventure games. I'm just like, whatever, whatever. I know I gotta get the key. I know I gotta get out.
Flavor text.
I gotta get out of here. But he did a good job keeping it brief, keeping it to the point, and keeping it interesting.
Well, sorry to step on you, Nick, but real quick to bounce off something Don was saying, while there is walking being done, sometimes you're walking back and forth throughout a scene to pick up an object or to interact with someone, but that could get boring as you're moving from one place to another repeatedly. But another really smart choice that Scenic Route Software made was to pepper those back and forth walk cycles with additional storytelling elements. So as you're walking from
Hmm.
screen right to screen left, you'll get this like poignant piece of storytelling in the bottom as you're traversing the environment back to a place you need to go. So it wasn't like you were just plodding along all over again. It's like you're being entertained and informed at every point along the way. It was really cool. So anyway, sorry to jump in there, Nick.
No, no, no. Um,
I got excited.
Did
I,
you guys ever play the Saints Row
I'm.
games? They do the same thing. This is
Oh,
heavily
really?
inspired by the Saints Row series, is what I'm getting at.
I
Yeah,
was
if
not
you
aware
like
of that.
if you're on a mission and you're talking in your car and then you die and you have to start the mission over, instead of having the same dialogue, the dialogue changes.
Oh, neat.
Maybe three
Huh.
or four different variations or whatever.
Well,
Anyway,
that does
Huh,
sound interesting, but it also sounds different from what's
it's
happening
a
in
little
the
different.
whiteout.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
just saying you're replaying the same thing. It acknowledges that you're replaying the same thing as part of the gameplay. It's part of the core gameplay. Yeah, it's a little
I
different,
see.
but it keeps it so the player's not getting bored
Yeah, that
with
it
the
All
does.
gameplay.
right,
Yes, Nick.
everybody listening.
Nick is talking.
I
I'm
I
being
love
quiet.
adventure games.
You tell him,
Similar to
Nick.
Ryan. Yeah. This game, I would say, if you could describe it in one word, it would be
Awesome.
intentionality. Well, awesome too,
Sorry.
What
but
was the word you said?
intentionality.
Okay.
Intentionality. So every action that you take, every movement that you make is extremely intentional. The way that Scenic Route Software has designed this game. So as Ryan mentioned, if you're traversing a screen or a location multiple times, there's usually something that happens to make that action worthwhile. If you are picking up an item, it feels very intentional the way that you uncover the item or pick it up and add it to your inventory. Just moving through the snow is amazing from the way that it makes you feel. So when I design games or when I play games, one of the things that I pay the most attention to is how the game is making you feel. How is the developer intending for you to experience this game? And with the whiteout, the sound that the snow makes
Hmm.
is perfect.
Hmm.
If you've been for a walk in the snow in medium to deep snow, then you know how that sounds, and you're transported right there as you start playing the game. And it just continues through the whole thing. It's amazing, every little aspect, and there are different scenes that you go to, and they have different feels to them. There are interior scenes, there's exterior scenes, there's scenes in different areas, and every one is built with that same intentionality and that same um, method of player interaction, which I find really incredible for a game of this length and diversity of play experience, even though it is like a modern point and click or um, a walking simulator type of game. Uh, the way that the player experiences it and the way that the story unfolds is really, really very impressive. I very much enjoyed this, and you can definitely see if Post Hero is kind of a love letter to Sierra games. Um, this is exactly what Ryan was describing, which is kind of a modern version of that type of adventure gameplay. And Ryan, if you have the opportunity to experience some modern point and clicks, they're built in roughly this type of style where you have a more focused experience than the 1980s and 90s point and clicks, where you're presented with a series of rooms and you have to figure out the solution to a room and then bring that forward in the game. So this is more of a situation of understanding the story, understanding the world, and then the items and the puzzle solutions are all natural extensions of that world, those different scenes. And so that's a way that it differs as well, because sometimes, a lot of 1980s and 90s point and clicks are criticized for what's called moon logic. And that's where you're expected to understand the way the programmer intended for this puzzle to be experienced. And it can be very confusing in some games. There's a very famous example in Gabriel Knight 3, where you have to make a fake mustache for your character. And in order to do that, you place some tape over a cat door. The cat walks through it, and then you put the piece of tape above your lip. That is not super obvious unless you were the designer. So that's an example. This game avoids that for most of the puzzles. I will say that there's one puzzle that I think skirts the edge of that idea. It's way late in the game, and it's not a big deal, but it's one of those things where you may have to make a small logical leap in order to solve the puzzle. In
Well,
talking with both of you,
now you've got me curious. So can we just
well,
announce that we're getting into spoiler territory and talk about it?
should we go ahead? What do you
Uh,
think, Don?
should we give our rankings and then go into spoilers at the end?
That's probably wise.
Okay.
So to finish up my thought, though, I really, really love this game, and I am so excited that it's part of season 2. I think it's perfect. It's quite a tonal shift from a lot of previous season games, as Ryan was mentioning. There are other post-apocalyptic type games on the Playdate, but it's really cool to have this really solid narrative adventure game, and I was thrilled to be able to do a bit of playtesting. So thank you very much for that opportunity, Scenic Ground Software. So that's my opinion, and let's rank them. What do you think?
Let's do it. Don, where are you at on this?
All right, I'll go first. I've got Dig Dig Dino in first. I've got the Whiteout in second. I've got Wheelsprung in third. Fulcrum Defender fourth.
Interesting. Okay. Well, for me, mine's a little different. Whiteout rocketed into the number 1 position for me. It was just such an unparalleled experience in the Playdate universe, and something that we did not touch on very much. Nick did mention it a bit, but I just want to put it out there. The sound design throughout the Whiteout is unbelievable. There's a suggestion to play this game with headphones in, and I would urge players, if you haven't played it yet, play it with headphones. It really does help with the immersion of this game. So anyway, ranking. Whiteout is number 1 for me. That moves Dig Dig Dino into number 2 for me, and I'm gonna have Fulcrum Defender at number 3, and then Wheelsprung is gonna be number 4 for me. Nick?
All right.
What are your rankings doing? Are they doing anything that Don and I are doing?
I like that our rankings are starting to diverge. So my rankings are Whiteout is now number 1, Dig Dig Dino is number 2, Wheelsprung is number 3, and Fulcrum Defender is number 4.
Okay, none of us are the same. Cool, interesting.
Very nice.
All right.
And I should mention speaking towards Ryan's audio using headphones and whatnot, that is the ideal way to go. However, if you're hard of hearing or whatnot, there is an accessibility option. Turn on audio cues, which I
Yes.
did do for times when I was playing at night or whatever, and worked great.
Yes.
So now, heads up, check us out, playdatepodcast.com, etc. You know the deal. Everything's in the show notes. All right. So give them a beat and we're going to do spoilers talk. If you're stuck, there is a walkthrough, a fairly spoiler-free walkthrough for Whiteout on the official Playdate page for the Whiteout, which will be
Ooh,
in the
is
show
that
notes.
spoiler free? I feel
I
like
mean,
it's
it's well, I'm
lays out
sorry.
pretty much everything.
It lays out it's pretty spoiler free for the most part. It's just like walk over here, read the text, walk over here, pick up the thing. But
Mm,
then if you make a decision, it does spell out like what each decision does. So that is very spoilery. I shouldn't say it's spoiler free. I should say
yes.
it's like go do this exact thing. But you're
Hmm.
gonna miss a lot if you're just following the guide
Hmm.
one to one.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I only had to look at it one time. There was one puzzle for me that I was unable to figure out. And since we're in spoiler
yeah,
territory
let's talk
now,
about it.
I'll just go ahead and say
Yeah.
it. It was the the troubling nursery rhyme butcher inside the
Oh,
boxcar.
walking in the light.
And I did not understand that I was supposed to move into and out of the light at certain periods of time. I just died and didn't understand when or why that was happening. So I just figured, oh, I shouldn't go in here because every time I've encountered someone else and I die, I just shouldn't go see them at that point. So that was the only point that I looked at the walkthrough. The rest of it I was able to complete on my own. But I think you guys may have had a different experience with the when you reference the walkthrough. Did you guys have some different points of difficulty?
I did, yeah. So Ryan, it's interesting when I was playtesting the game, I ran into the same problem. So I had the benefit of knowing the
Uh,
solution um, there. But yeah, the puzzle I was referencing was actually opening the toolbox
mm,
towards the end of the game, and the solution is not it is not telegraphed in a way that clicked with me. Um, so that's not the same for everybody. Obviously, you got it, Ryan.
yeah,
And t-
I did not
Don
get
did
it. I did not get it on my first try. There were
right.
a few other clues that I was trying before the one that worked.
Hmm.
So the one that worked for me, because I think you mentioned there are different uh, passcodes that will get you in,
Hmm. Yep.
but the one that worked for me was the American flag hanging on the wall. It's pretty big, it's pretty central. So I tried 1776, and that worked for me. But the couple I tried first were if you're walking into the gas station,
Hmm.
there's a sign that says for sale 99 cents. And I thought, oh, maybe that's a part of the passcode was 99 and then something else. So I was looking around for something else. And then I spotted a clock on the wall, which is at 10:10. So I thought, oh,
Hmm.
okay, maybe I'll try 10:10. That's in the gas station, the room right before you enter the garage in the gas station. That did not work. So it took me a couple tries and some looking around, but my third try, I got the American 1776 reference. Uh,
Yeah, and that's good. I think that's the most well telegraphed answer of. I think there's three different answers if I read correctly. The one that I had was not 1, 2, 3, 4. It was 4, 3, 2, 1. So unfortunately for me, that just wasn't what I jumped to as an easy combination, which would be something like 0000 or 1, 2, 3, 4. Um, well, that is an easy combination, 4, 3, 2, 1. It just didn't occur to me naturally, so I had to look up that solution. How about you, Don? Did you have any trouble with that particular puzzle?
So that particular puzzle, I was looking at the guide and it was the part with pushing her into the dumpster is right above it. And so I saw all the numbers when I was reading the thing.
So you were an expert going into
Well,
that.
it caught my eye like combinations are 4 3 2 1. So then I was like, oh, what is this? And so I read it before I even knew there was a combination to do. So I used Panic Street Address because I thought it'd be funny. But then it says something, there's flavor text if you use Panic Street Address. It's like, I'm glad you didn't
Oh,
panic or
really?
something like that. Yeah.
Was
That's
that the
cool.
third one? Is Panic Street Address?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Cool.
Okay.
Um,
Cool.
yeah, there's a couple of audio-based puzzles, which I didn't try turning on audio cues, but I'm curious how that impacts the experience. So there's one where there's an enemy that you're trying to sneak past,
Hmm.
and if you wake them up, you're killed.
Hmm.
And at one point, you're trying to set a trap for that character,
Yeah.
and again, you have to not wake them up. And if your sound is down or you're hard of hearing, you may have an issue with that one potentially. And then Ryan mentioned the one with the nursery rhyme, or it's not really a nursery rhyme, but the rhyme and the light. Um, so that's another one where until I was quite focused on the oral experience, the sound, it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me right out of the gate. Um, did you all have similar experiences with the audio
Mm,
focused puzzles?
when you're using the saw specifically,
Mm-hmm.
we're in spoiler territory. When you're using the saw, I thought it was like, oh, my sawing is waking them up. And so I would do it like a tiny bit and then they'd wake up and I was like, well, what the hell? And so I just kept failing over and over and
Mm,
over. Then I realized it's just a rhythm thing. Like they're
yeah.
awake for 2 seconds, they're asleep for 2 seconds. So then as soon as they go to sleep, then I saw super fast and then just
Yep.
stop. And then I solved it right away. So when you do the audio thing, you said you did try it, like the little box pops up with a little speaker in it.
I didn't try that,
Oh,
so
you
I'd
didn't.
be
Okay. So when he's
um
snoring, a little icon pops up in the corner with a speaker on it and then
oh, okay.
disappears when he's not snoring.
Yeah, I think that's if you have
Oh,
the
neat.
audio cues on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
was curious what those did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, that's cool.
Yeah, I thought that was real handy. And so I think I'm trying to remember because there's a lot of gameplay here. But I think once I got one of the audio puzzles, that when I encountered another one, I was like, oh, okay, that's similar. Now I understand what
We've
to
seen
do.
this before, right?
Yeah, because there were like two or three similar audio puzzles where you're supposed to do something while sound is happening and then
Hmm.
not do something while it's not happening. So, I felt like I was learning what the developer wanted you to understand.
Yeah.
But speaking of sound, one portion of the game that just I I've never experienced a real jump scare on a Playdate game before. And maybe you guys know what I'm about to mention, but when you
Mm-mm.
get run through with a truck, especially when the headphones are on and
Oh,
it's so immersive and there's this perfect not only a revving of the truck sound, but it's audio mixed with this like discordant piano that follows it up, and it was all just like, oh, I'm getting chills just thinking about the experience because it was so perfectly choreographed and audio scoped. What do you call it? And it really made me jump like I physically recoiled from my play date when that happened for the first time. I was not expecting that, and again, this sort of a dark theme is not abundant on the play date, so I think that made it especially surprising and just man, so affecting at the same time. Did you guys have a similar experience with that? I thought that was so well done.
oh yeah. I, every interesting way to fail. I as a seasoned adventure game player, I'm always curious to see what the boundaries of the game might be
Mm.
and how failures might be programmed. And the one of the cool things that I didn't mention is that there's no dead ends in this game. So Post Hero was similar in that it was designed in a way so that you couldn't get stuck partway
Yeah,
through.
love that.
Um, it's amazing, and not all games are like that. Not all adventure games. Um, so it takes a tremendous amount of thought and work to put something together like that. So all this is like super duper appreciated um, by uh, adventure game lovers and non-adventure game lovers alike, I think. Um, but yeah, this game is super great, and I'm glad, Ryan, you had that reaction. Um, it's it's really great. I enjoy this game quite a lot.
So if you don't
Yeah,
go into the barn fast enough, you get hit by the truck.
that's right. Did you
Oh,
not get
okay.
hit by the truck?
No, no, I went in the barn.
Oh, interesting. Wow.
Nice.
It
Well, it
took me
shows
a
a
couple
little
tries.
timer. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did not see the timer at first and was not aware I needed to or what I needed to do at that point. Uh, but I learned after getting hit a couple few times what I needed
Oh,
to do.
that's cool. I mean, I
I,
remember the truck revving. I was like, "Oh, that's cool."
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I got hit once, but then I
Okay.
figured it out.
Took me two or three times.
Ryan keeps going.
That's as we know,
um,
he won't stop.
so there's a choice near the end of the game, and I'm curious what choice
Yes.
you
Yes.
each made.
Yes.
Um,
Okay.
Ryan, why don't you start? Which choice
Okay.
did you make?
So, just to clarify, in spoiler territory here, at the end of the game, you are playing as a different character and you are trying to retrieve some supplies from the bad guys and bring it back to base so that you have ammo, food, and medical supplies. There's three boxes. And then something happens where you need to make a choice. You basically have to get the most important thing. What's most important? Ammo or food or medical supplies? And I ended up choosing medical supplies. There is a person back at base camp who needs help, and he's going to be in a real not good place if he doesn't get medical attention. And it's a really difficult decision too, because I mean, if you don't take food, then a whole lot of people are going to be in a bad way. And if you don't take the ammo, you're likely to get overtaken by these bad. Like, it was such a good conundrum to put the player in. It really made me think. So anyway, I ended up choosing the medical supplies, and because of that, I got a particular ending. Can I talk about the ending that I got because of that? Because this choice determines what ending you're going to get in the game too. There's multiple different endings to this game.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Go
so
ahead.
because of that choice, the person lived, and the end of the game was sort of hopeful. Essentially, the two main players, you start off as a wanderer, he's a male. You end up switching to playing as a female character, and then these two characters sort of walk off into uh, the snowscape together at the end. So while things are still bleak, at least they have each other. So that's the ending that I got. But what choices did you guys make there?
Well, I made the same choice as you, Ryan.
Okay.
I brought the medical supplies. Don, how about you?
I didn't. I took the canned goods.
Oh,
And
nice.
so
So
Okay.
yeah,
I
what
took the canned
happened?
goods, but then so the wanderer was like he was outside the house when I got back and he was delirious. He didn't know what was going on. He was
Yeah.
talking about his amber or something. And so I walked him back inside and put him in bed. And then up on the roof, he showed up and he was like spouting off and he ran and tackled Cobb and they both fell off the roof and they both died. And so at the end, just Angel was walking on her own.
hmm
Hmm.
hmm Yeah. Interesting. We'll have to replay it and choose the ammo, see what ending that provides.
Yeah.
I'm very curious. Yeah.
Yeah. So cool that there's different endings worked into the game, and also that there's this really interesting decision to be made. I was real torn between medical supplies and food. There's not a great choice.
Yeah,
Hmm.
all three of them are appealing for different reasons.
Yeah.
And one of the touches that I really appreciated, and this just goes back to the intentionality, is that once you return with the medical supplies, you get chewed out
Uh-huh.
by your companions, your friends who are there.
Hmm.
They're rightfully upset that you're prioritizing the stranger's health
Yep.
over the collective. So this goes back to the intentionality I was talking about. Each of these decisions has repercussions that are crafted in such a way to make the player feel a certain way about the decision that they've made and how the other characters within the world react to your choice. Um, I think it's quite clever and very well done, and it's cool that we had different experiences here. I think this is quite the polished little gem of season two so far. So I'm very excited to see um, what's next in season two, but also if there might be more in this world at some point.
Yeah. We
It's a
should have.
great standalone story, but it would be cool to see an expansion at some point. All right, sorry, Don.
Yeah, you could have different seasons of the Whiteout. We should have
There we
probably
go.
mentioned this before we got into spoiler territory. Sorry, Dino, but he did leave some comments in Discord, and he said he finished up the game,
Mhm.
fantastic. He was hyped after seeing the trailer a while back. I thought the bleak situation and dystopian environment was portrayed well through great scripting, dialogue, visuals, and audio. The story was surprisingly deep and layered for its duration. He recommended wearing headphones and shutting out surroundings, immersing myself within the game. I think Cheyenne McDonald said something similar in her article. It was a necessity to fully appreciate the environment the wanderer is traversing. So the almost relentless sound of the cold wind sent a shiver down my spine. Yeah.
Yeah, Cheyenne McDonald was all about the whiteout. I thought that was quite a positive review that she gave, and rightfully so. What a killer game. Um, well, should we wrap things up there, guys, or is there another spoiler or two you want to mention?
No, I think I'm in a good spot.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you for sticking around these spoilers. If you did stick around these spoilers, boy howdy, I sure hope you have not played the game yet. I hope you have played the game
Same.
if you are listening.
There we
Uh,
go. Yeah.
that's what I mean. But if you have listened this far, why don't we let you know that you can contact us at helloplaydatepodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us in places like YouTube. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/ at helloplaydatepodcast. We are also on Blue Sky. You can find us at Hello Playdate there. And you know our favorite. That's the bingo tip line. Don't forget to call 724 bingos 1. That's 724-246-4671. You give us a call there, you leave a message, and you can be on the show with us. So we'd love to
Guys,
hear from you.
guys,
Oh,
guys.
Nicholas,
I got a call on the bingo tip line today
from one of our listeners.
from someone who needs help fixing a bingo.
I had a feeling.
Dual purpose.
All
There
right.
we go.
Well, let's get some more representation from Hello Playdate podcast listeners on there. 724 bingos 1, 724-246-4671. For real. I think that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you for tuning in again. And you are smack in the midst of our weekly episode updates. So tune in again next week for our chat about games 5 and 6 from season 2. See you then.
See you soon.
Thanks, everybody.